are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I'm back on track, got a good night's sleep last night. I was sweating my fucking balls off. It is so fucking hot in Sydney right now. It's so muggy. I've got no air conditioning in my place, so we're running 3 fans at the moment. And last night it was so hot, so we just had the fan pointing at my daughter until I woke up at like 2:45 a.m. just fucking drenched in sweat. I was fucking wet, like towel wet. Then I got up, dried myself, and then I had to turn the fan on, fucking rotate that fan. But ended up sleeping till like 9:30 this morning and feeling good. Still a little bit scattered, but feeling fucking good. What a difference a good night's sleep makes. And tomorrow, it's my 9-year anniversary. 9 fucking years. And what are we doing tomorrow? I got to work it out today. My wife's taking the day off work. I said I'd organise something. And I will. I will tonight. We were going to go see Dave Chappelle out in fucking Wollongong, but not doing that anymore. So fucking have to come up with something. I've got no idea what's romantic. Every time I think of something romantic, it just, I don't know. It gives me like douche chills. Every time I think of doing something nice for my wife, it makes me cringe. I need to start fucking doing it though. I've been getting some official complaints. Her birthday, Christmas, you can't miss too many things in a row and think you're going to get away with it. Even though fucking her birthday, my mum had a stroke from smoking darts. Then Christmas, I had the toothache, so I spent fucking half the time in the hospital. So there's a couple of things there. I suppose it doesn't patch over the fact that there was still no present or anything before those things happened. But it should. You should turn a blind eye after that. So I'm going to have to become more romantic. I don't know how I'm going to become more romantic than I already am. Romance seems more for like dating couples, for like boyfriends and girlfriends. You know what I mean? When you're still like chasing a girl or something like that. That's romantic. That's where romance is. Swooning and all that sort of shit. Once you've been married 9 years and you've got 2 kids, it's just like fucking give us a break, alright? Fucking just give us a quiet room. That's romantic to me. Just silence. An empty room with no noise. That's romantic. I really want to see All Quiet on the Western Front. It's on Netflix, but I googled it. There's a cinema playing it at 10 a.m. I wonder if she'll find that romantic. Just a fucking hardcore war movie at 10 a.m. on our anniversary. I'll just organise one of the fucking ushers to put a rose on the seat. And then she sits on it and gets thorned in the ass. So what did you do on your 9-year anniversary? We went and watched Schindler's List. For some reason he thought that would be romantic. Let me see what is romantic. Romantic things to do. Sydney. 10 best things to do. Romantic Sydney. Ugh. A small group Blue Mountains day trip. Forget about it. Blue Mountains. Forget about it. Sydney Harbour helicopter tour. No. Full day Blue Mountain. The Blue Mountains are not fucking romantic. I almost died in the Blue Mountains. It's a fucking nightmare there. Sydney Opera House official guided tour. Are these fucking people out of their mind? If I gave my wife any of this shit, it would be divorced. Go see a koala. A koala. Go see a koala. This is insane. I need to go somewhere a little bit better than this. What else? All right. Couples experiences. Sydney. Cocktails and dumpling making class. That sounds all right. Clay pottery class for date night. Clay pottery. Now we're talking. Glass blowing class. That would be fucking off its head. Glass blowing. I can tell you this right now. Glass blowing will not get you blown. Not on your 9th year. Anyway, leave it to me. I'll use the 14 minutes I have in between finishing this podcast, releasing it, and then going to bed to figure out what we're doing tomorrow. Anyway, now that I'm back on track, it's time to resume regular programming, and today it's time for Boyle Breaks History. So this one's a little bit Boyle Breaks History and a little bit Conspiracy Cop. It's more Conspiracy Cop. So what was the big event this week? The big event was the Turkey earthquake. Brutal fucking earthquake. You're seeing the buildings fall, fucking people are dying, fucking rough. So yesterday or last night, whenever the fuck I had to do the all-nighter, I was flicking through Twitter and I was looking at all the images coming out of Turkey, and they're just fucking brutal. And on some of the images, you click on it and you start reading the comments. And a lot of the comments were like, this is a tragedy. This is a terrible thing. We need to send aid, prayers for everyone in Turkey and Syria as well. And then I would say 1 out of 10 comments on pretty much every photo or clip or tweet coming out of Turkey was, this was a planned attack by the US government using the HAARP weather system or weather control system or whatever the fuck it is. And I'd heard of HAARP before. HAARP is old school conspiracy. That was back in my day. I was looking at HAARP. It sort of links in with like chemtrails and shit like that. So today I'm going to take a little look, an investigation into HAARP. So HAARP, for starters, HAARP's a real thing. That part's not the conspiracy. HAARP is real. It's out there in Alaska. They actually have a few of them. There's one in Alaska. There's a defunct one in Ukraine, which makes it even more suspicious, doesn't it? And I think there's another one out there in Norway, which are all kind of suspicious locations, very close to Russia. Norway's not that close, but if you combine the power of the Ukrainian fucking HAARP and the Alaskan HAARP with the Norway one, they can send out the radio frequencies into outer space, and they combine, and then they'll just drop right on Putin. Very suspicious. So HAARP is not a conspiracy in itself. HAARP is an acronym. It stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. And it's out there in Fairbanks, Alaska. And what they do out there, or what they say they do out there, is they're studying the ionosphere, which is up high. Higher than the clouds. The ionosphere is way higher than the clouds. So what it is, you can look at pictures of it. It's a bunch of different fucking antennas and whatever. It's some shit. It's antennas and shit. Look at it. Wires and antennas. And it was a research program funded and operated until 2014 by the US Air Force. The absolute beacons of science. Don't pretend the Air Force aren't just full of fucking scientists, all right? Thinking about the ionosphere all the time. So it was run by the US Air Force for like 30 years, I think it was. 1992 to 2014 or something like that. And then it got handed over to the University of Alaska Fairbanks. So the US Air Force never really said what they were testing. They're just like, we're testing the ionosphere. What are you testing about it? Just fucking shut up, cunts. We're fucking testing it with all our pilot scientists. So they say the ionosphere is actually really hard to test up there because balloons can't reach it because the air's too thin, and satellites can't orbit it because the air's too thick. So it's one of those like in between places that they have to build fucking special radio weather controlling antennas to fucking beam up high frequency radio waves into. So what they do is they blast very low frequency radio waves into the ionosphere and try and fucking heat it up, causing holes and shit. I don't know, and test the holes. Whatever. That's what they say they're doing. And people aren't buying it. Conspiracy theorists are like, they're using the HAARP technology to fucking control the weather. It's been blamed for floods, hurricanes, earthquakes, thunderstorms, some shit that went down in Iran. The Ahmadinejad, he fucking blamed HAARP on it. Fucking Pakistan, Turkey, Greece, Philippines. That Venezuelan guy said the Haiti fucking earthquake was caused by HAARP. There's been a lot of shit blamed on HAARP. There's been a lot of blaming on this HAARP, but there doesn't seem to be that much evidence. I'm into it though. You got to remember, I'm a fucking conspiracy theorist from way back. So I looked up this guy. I think he was from the University of Alaska who've taken over HAARP. And he's like, the amount of energy HAARP produces in Alaska he's like, it's not enough to do anything. He's like, to cause some of the things that HAARP's been accused of, he's like, you need like nuclear power, if not that more, like 2 nuclear powers. He's like, there's just not enough energy coming out of HAARP to cause any of the things they're saying. And then he's like, there's ways to manipulate the weather. He's like, yeah, we're doing that. Not us, but there are ways. That's not a problem. It's just not HAARP. He didn't say it like that. I fucking put a little bit of juice on it. Like all good conspiracy theorists, I put a little bit of fucking honey on fucking the bread. But he did say there are ways to manipulate the weather. They just haven't been tested. And I'm like, haven't they? How do you explain the downpour today when I was picking up my son from fucking school? It was like fucking cloudy and chilly at one point, and then it just started fucking pissing down. It was like a flash flood. How do you explain that? HAARP. That's how, cunt. So I'm not too sure about HAARP in itself. Do I think the US government caused the Turkish earthquakes? Look, I don't know if they directly caused it, but it's not going to hurt to blame the US, is it? Can't we just blame the US regardless? They didn't... They don't need to have a direct influence on it for us to blame them, do we? I'm happy to say Biden pulled the trigger. I'm fine with that. HAARP, though, I'm not sold on HAARP. I think fucking they probably have some technology, Space Force or something like that, knows how to cause earthquakes and shit. They probably do have that technology. I just don't think it's HAARP. HAARP doesn't look big enough and strong enough to do anything. If you look at pictures of it, it looks like fucking Wi-Fi. I'm sure there's shit going on in space we have no fucking idea about. So my conclusion with HAARP is it exists. I don't think it's causing earthquakes, but I'm happy to blame most, if not all, natural disasters on the US. Okay? Case closed. That'll do for tonight. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around, and I'll see you the fuck later.